One of the things that a lot of blind youth are taught not to do is to touch things, and we're trying to unteach them in that. We're trying to teach them to use their hands, reach out, explore their environments, be brave, be safe, but be brave. We want everybody to stretch themselves. We've touched things this week that most people won't touch.
That's why we call it a sensational adventure in summer science, because we've encouraged them to engage all their senses.
Sensational Adventures in Summer Science, a scientific symphony.
Hi, I'm Fred Wurtzel. I'm co-coordinator of Sensational Adventures in Summer Science.
I'm Donna Posont. I'm a co-coordinator of Sensational Adventures in Summer Science.
Hi, I'm JJ Meadow, and I'm one of the adult mentors here at the program this summer.
Hello, I'm Kyle Kendillian. I'm a naturalist in the University of Michigan Dearborn's Environmental Interpretive Center and another one of the scientists who's helping out with this summer's Sensational Adventures.
What we want to do is combine an attitude of I can do it with an attitude of let's find a way to do it by using alternative techniques of blindness. We want to empower the students when they go back to their science classrooms to be able to help their teachers understand how they can learn as blind scientists.
A lot of these kids go through school not having many opportunities to experience science. They're often told that they can't do science or there's no way for them to do it as a blind person. So we are here as blind adults and showing them that science is not only possible, but it can be a lot of fun and it's very cool.
Why are you cutting off the corners?
Because they have to mark which card is which SPF.
The young scientists are outside performing an experiment to test the effectiveness of different sunscreens.
4 corners cut off is 50, 3 corners cut off is 30, and 1 corner is 15. And then 0 is the dry.
All science experiments has to have a constant variable. The constant variable is a variable that stays the same.
For 15.
Yeah, I got me
The
15.
control.
Yeah.
This year, the Sensational Adventures in Summer Science is sponsored by the National Federation of the Blind of Michigan in partnership with the University of Michigan Dearborn Environmental Interpretive Center.
We've had significant support from a private foundation and from the Michigan Braille Transcribing Fund.
We've also had a grant from the Michigan Parents of Children with Visual Impairments and contribution by Easy Tactile Sketch Pads from Burlington, Vermont.
We're so happy about the sketch pads this year. We're teaching all of the students to use alternative techniques to graph data and collect data and graph data. That's one of the things that we want the scientists to take home with them.
Okay. All right, we are now ready to begin the experiment. All right, this experiment is called the freezing and melting of ice. Now that's something we all do each and every day, but today you're actually going to quantify it. Now you see you have a big beaker that's a 400 milliliter beaker set on the base of the ring stand. Does everyone feel that?
Students are gathered in a classroom, wearing safety goggles and using talking LabQuest sensors to quantify how the freezing and melting point of ice is affected by salt.
Change as you make ice.
Now put it in here.
Yes. Are you sure that's fine?
Yes.
You want to see? Yes. Watch me do it. I want to make sure.
When we add ice to this beaker, what's going to happen? The temperature is going to go down. But once we add the water, the salt, and the ice together, it's going to go below the freezing point of regular water.
And more ice.
Some of the experience that they have here will change them for the rest of their lives. Breakthroughs in their ability to perceive and experience the world around them, such as when we do handling or do our walks in the woods, allows them to get an experience and really emphasizes that I can do it, I can actually do this, and getting involved attitude.
We've been learning all this about leaves so that we can move into a leaf identification project.
Look at how big that is.
The scientists are out hiking in the woods, identifying trees by feeling their leaves and their bark.
Oh, it's a heart shape.
I would tell. I'd say
60 years old.
Oh, there's a cork that you can like screw
70.
through here and it pulls out center.
If we cut it down,
yeah, you can take a cord, right, and you can count the ring. With the bark that Donna is, she's hugging the tree here. Okay. The butterfly is on the tree. All right. And you can see if you can feel the bark. And see what you can do, how you might describe it, what you would say.
It's rough.
Good. Good point. Thank you.
I'm never letting go.
It feels like it has carbon in it.
Kyle's an expert on all sorts of insects and bugs and brought many of them in for the kids to feel and kind of get an idea of how some of them, the different textures and the different the types of insects that are around in this area.
Kyle holds up a hissing cockroach.
It make noises.
Yeah,
It's a cockroach!
This is a Madagascar hissing cockroach. And you can see how they get their name.
Under Kyle's supervision, the kids handle a wide variety of insects and reptiles.
Ready? It's going to crawl on your head.
Hey Kyle, can I touch it?
Yeah, sure. You can talk to the guys that name
Here, you touch it.
Is it on you?
Yeah. Feel the top of it.
What? It feels like a snake. Why is it so hard?
They have a very, very sturdy
That
exoskeleton.
one the other day wasn't like that.
Yeah, this is bigger.
So somebody saw that when they think,
Why is it grabbing onto my finger?
Humbug Marsh is part of the International Wildlife Refuge, which is the last undeveloped mile of land on the Detroit River. We actually traveled there on Tuesday and navigated our way through the marsh in our knee-high rubber boots. So that was definitely getting up close and personal with the environment.
With canes and heavy-duty hiking gear, the scientists explore the marsh.
Right here, right where I am.
Kyle, what are these really tall?
Those are cattails.
Oh, these
Broadleaf
are
cattails. Typha angustifolia, I think, is the scientific name. If anyone who's in the watery area feels down, you can grab a handful of duckweed. It's a little plant, a little small floating plant. Yeah, Donna and Nuthatch and Jeff.
Oh, this on the
Yeah,
surface,
there
that's
with duckweed.
duckweed?
Yeah, there's a lot of it growing down. It's on the barely on the surface.
One of the things that we've tried to incorporate into our program are different kinds of what some people would call daily living skills. That's things that one would do to operate their own households. And today, for example, we went to the farmers market to pick out enough food to feed 30 people tomorrow for our last day here at the Sense-Sational Adventures in Summer Science. Over the years, we've focused on how the food chain works, how food comes from the field to the processor to the table. And this year we're continuing with that tradition.
We are at the farmers market to experience a farmers market in the first place, but also we are learning how to grocery shop and manage money.
The students explore, sample foods, and make purchases here at the market.
No, I'm good.
Like all of
That
us.
was the black olive you tried. All right, out of $20. Okay. Whoa! Seriously, you're hired.
Oh, lots of kinds of lettuce here.
Who gets the change? All right, so $12. You guys do separate. We don't pay much, but you can have all the free vegetables you want.
Sorry, so we need 2 bags of peach nuts.
Whoa, these are light.
How much they cost? Wait, they're $6. Did you say so?
6 for 6?
Yes, ma'am. 6 for 6.
What's these?
What'd you get, Jerusalem?
Tomatoes and kettle corn, a big bag.
One last thing I'd like to mention is last year we developed a sensory butterfly garden on this campus through money donated by the National Federation of Blind. And since that time, one of our former students, Matt Klug, passed away. So on Monday night of this week, July 27th, we had a dedication of our butterfly garden, now to be called the Mac Clue Butterfly Garden. And we hope to greatly honor his memory by having all these host and nectar plants for butterflies to be happy with.
Students gather at the garden.
I think that it's particularly relevant and suitable to have a garden plot established in honor of somebody. Not so any garden, but the garden that we see here, I think, represents what we're all about here. There's great diversity in this garden. It's not as if we planted a peony garden with only one species, but we've got, you can see all the flags that are here. This is great diversity that we have here.
Some of the kids, the new kids, would come to camp and be a little apprehensive at first, or a little scared. No, not Matt. He jumped right into everything. He was just probably one of the happiest kids that we ever had.
Before he lost his vision at 12, he was very active in the Boy Scouts. His favorite time was going camping and being outdoors. And then continued with scouting for a short while, but then basically this was his therapy. He loved coming here. He loved spending time.
Matt's father hangs a set of wind chimes in the garden.
This is a future. These young scientists have a future, and hopefully through this week they'll come to understand that they can have a future in the sciences if that's what they choose to do.
Yeah, to me this is as much a civil rights activity as anything else. We're trying to empower young people to believe that they have the opportunity, the same as anyone else in their classroom, to be a scientist, be an engineer, being a mathematician, or whatever else that they feel that they want to become. We're trying to just take away any boundaries around those things that they might feel exist. That doesn't necessarily mean they will become those things, but we want them to have that opportunity if that's something they want to do.
So many times kids are told, especially blind kids, are told they can't do something because they're blind. And instead of just taking that and being okay with it, the kids can come back and say, you know what, I actually learned how to do this independently at the summer science program, and I can show you how to do it.
I'd like to say that we invite any educators who are interested in including a blind child in your classroom, whether it's a shop class or a science class or any other class where there's a lot of activity, or any other class for that matter, please feel free to contact any of us, and we'll be glad to come to your school. We'll be glad to talk to you about things. We'll be glad to provide you with lots of information from a lot of people who have been including blind children in their classrooms for many years now.
And of course we're looking forward to another sensational adventure in science next summer, and we have some activities planned in the meantime. So stay tuned, and for teachers and parents of blind and visually impaired children, we want a chance to reach your future scientists.
Contact the National Federation of the Blind of Michigan, president.nfb.mi@gmail.com. Find us online at www.nfbmi.org. Directed by Mark Wurtzel, camera by Mark Wurtzel and Dr. David Susko, edited and narrated by Ted Kindig. Additional thanks to shirt designer Doris Dunway, Environmental Interpretive Center U of M Dearborn Director Dr. David Susko, and manager Michael Perrin. The Four Seasons by Antonio Vivaldi, performed by John Harrison with the Wichita State University Chamber. Used under a Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike 3.0 license. Brought to you by the National Federation of the Blind of Michigan, changing what it means to be blind in Michigan, and by the National Federation of the Blind. Live the life you want.